So today we're going to look at sidechaining. We're going to look at sidechaining a lead synth mainly with a 4 on the floor drum beat. So we're just going to listen to kind of this quick example that I've got. So I'll quickly put together a drummer track here, a rock organ part, and a bass. And so together that just sounds like this. Fine, it's quite boring at the moment, but what we're going to do, we're going to put another compressor on here. See how it's got a compressor already? We're going to put another one on here. It can really be any compressor. I just use Logic's standard one in platinum mode, just to make things a bit easier. And then this is where things start perhaps to get a little bit, not complicated, but instead of just sidechaining it normally with these drums, we're going to sidechain it with something called a Klopfgeist. The Klopfgeist is a click utility, one of Logic's instruments, so utility, Klopfgeist. And if we bring up our keyboard, the only sound that it makes is this. Just a really, really, really short click. And that's it. And what we're going to do, we're going to record a part that's just on every beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. Let's have a go. There we are, quantized it's 1/4. So now if we just listen to this, that's all that it's doing. But here, instead of going to the stereo out, the main out, we don't actually want to hear this part. So its output is just going to be going to bus 6. It can be any bus you want. All the other buses at the moment are user things. Sorry. So we're just going to put it to bus 6. So bus 6, but then bus 6 obviously here is going to stereo out. So we're going to tell it to go to no output. So at the moment, the Klopfgeist is playing. If you follow the mouse down, it's going to bus 6, but then bus 6 is going to nothing. If we go back on the part that we want to sidechain or start pumping now, open up the second compressor you put in, or might be the first, and at the top right it says sidechain. You've got to change that to the bus that you assign the Klopfgeist to. So in this case, bus 6. I'm just going to copy this across as well. Just so you've got it for the whole loop. Actually, if we just solo these two parts, what we'll be able to see is the needle here compressing or lowering the amplitude on every beat. We're going to turn the threshold down a bit. Turn the ratio up. So what we can hear now, on every beat it ducks or it reduces in volume. We'll play this with the drum kit now to hear what it sounds like. Yeah, I mean, it sounds all right. And you can do that to a lot of pieces or instruments or parts. One of the most famous, loads of sidechaining happens in more or less all music. But if you listen to Benny Benassi's Satisfaction or Born to Be Alive as well, that's got some really, really good sidechaining on the lead with the kick drum as well. What we could do as well, instead of saying bus 6, we could say... Actually, if we just send this to a bus 6 as well. And on the Klopfgeist, let's just mute that for the minute. So now the the lead is actually sidechained on the drummer. So the drummer's being sent to bus 6. Again, bus 6 has no output, but the input for this compressor is bus 6. So that's weird. Oh, we turn the compressor off. Right, there we are. So that's what that sounds like as well. But what else can we do? Well, let's put another send here. It's gone bus 7. This is just going to be my simple reverb send. So I'm just going to add platinum verb, and that's it. I'm going to turn it quite high up. I'm going to move this compressor here now just to the other side. You can drag and drop it. Just going to check that the compressor, yep, still has the same settings. So now you can hear it's got loads of reverb on this. But what's going to be happening now is I'll just turn off that bus send from the drums and turn the Klopfgeist back on. Is that the Klopfgeist is going to be sidechaining just the reverb. So hopefully this will sound quite good. Here we go. Let's listen to what that sounds like. I don't know what it's going to sound like, to be honest. I've turned the high cut on this compressor as well. Right down, just so we're not getting into the high frequency. So let's keep on playing around. Yeah, and that's it. So that's kind of the introduction to sidechaining. We'll see what we can do with the bass now. So at the moment, it's just a standard kind of plucked bass. If we get some sort of electric bass going, let's go through these, see what we got. Okay, that sounds all right. Then we're going to move the quantize this quickly. We're going to move that compressor across to the bass track. Is this the bass track? No. So this compressor here at the bottom to the bass track. Here we go. Turn the compressor on. Bus 6 again. Fingers crossed. Get the Klopfgeist in action. I'm going to put a limiter on this because, as you can see, it's clipping like mad. It's gone into 10 in the red. So if you put a limiter on this, it'll stop it from digitally clipping. Well, I mean, technically it will still be digitally clipping, but it won't make it. Here we go. So it does kind of give that pumping feel. Let's bring the lead back in. Maybe it doesn't work too well with the lead, but I think with just that bass, it sounds all right. You know, let's have a play around with some other bass sounds now. Not a bit weird. And what we could do now, perhaps, you know, just to give it that nice feel, just a bit extra, put that on touch. And automate this. So now let's automate the ADSR. Nice. Let's keep on playing around. I wonder why the Residents didn't automate. That's weird. Let's try that again. There we go. So yeah, now we've, let's put that back on read, so it's just kind of going through it. So we've got a sidechained lead with sidechained lead just with drums. It's being sidechained by the Klopfgeist. What we can do as well, on this bass lead now, we can compress it loads. So we're getting a really heavily compressed signal into the side chaining compressor here now. So essentially one amplitude. Then what this compressor does, side chaining, it'll just make it dip, dip, dip. So if we're to export this, bounce and join, bounce and place, you'll be able to see, hopefully, what this looks like as an audio file. I wonder if it's done. So you can't really see it that well. Yeah, it's done it there, but obviously that's because of the slow attack on the ADSR. Yeah, so it hasn't bounced the compression, which is weird. It's just bounced kind of raw data. Oh well. Okay, that's cool though. Good. So I think that sounds alright. So that's the basics to sidechaining. If we just do it quickly in. So first of all, we've just got this simple drum kit, drum loop. You know, no sends or anything. But what we have here is a Klopfgeist. And the Klopfgeist, what that does is just a single click. So, right. You can't hear it, 2 seconds. So just that tiny little click sound. But it's got no output. So output, not output. Klopfgeist, whatever. So the Klopfgeist makes a click, goes to bus 6, but we don't actually want to hear that clicking sound, so bus 6 goes to nothing. And then we've got this bass sound here. On here, we've got a compressor, which input is bus 6. So the input of this is just the clicking. But the actual audio input is the audio. So in goes the audio, but it's affected by the Klopfgeist. This is what happens. Click, 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 click. And you can see the needle bouncing back and forth. And that's kind of what gives the pumping feel. And put it with the drum kit. And because it's got a limiter on, you know, we can smash this up to 30. This might be deafeningly loud, but you only live once. Nice. Okay, why don't we... Yeah, so that's the basics to sidechaining. You can really do it with anything and everything, and you know, really have a good play around. So you know, we looked at sidechaining reverb. Obviously, it didn't really work that well with this example, but listen to some Benny Benassi, and you'll see kind of how good he is in action. But yeah, thank you very much for watching again, and just go out there and experiment a lot.